Welcome to the Hokyoji Sunday Dharma Talk. It's my pleasure today to introduce Reverend Onryu Kennedy. She has transmission in both the Katagiri and Uchiyama Roshi lineages. She's practiced at Toshoji in Japan and Tassajara, and she was a Shuso at Toshoji, and completed zuise in January of 2023. And she's an improved Japanese teacher through the Sotochu here in the United States as a foreign missionary. I will say the title, Kokusaifukuyoshi. That's what she is. Okay. Throughout her life, she's valued social justice as an expression of her vow. She's currently an associate teacher of Hokyoji Zen Practice Community, and she experiences great joy in the opportunity to learn and teach Buddhist practices. So, Onryu, I will turn this event over to you and look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thank you, Guy. There's an echo.
Yeah, Hokyoji.
It's still a little echoey. Do others echo?
Yeah, there we go. Yours should be good now.
Okay, awesome. Can you hear me? Thumbs up. Awesome. Good to see all of you. Yes, and I'm honored. I'm honored to be here with you today. And as I was sitting, I was struck with the sounds of the birds. I felt that I was right in the Zendo. It was awesome. So I just want to say that even though I'm in Minneapolis, I feel deeply connected to all of you, and especially Hokyoji in that beautiful space. The floors are like radiating as well. I don't know, maybe it's my mind, but it seems just wonderful, even though I'm not present there. So I just want to acknowledge the beauty of the sounds and the sights that I'm seeing in this moment. And early this morning, I think it was about 1:30 here in Central Standard Time, because I know some of you are spread out throughout the US. I'm not going to call you out, but I know somebody's on the East Coast right now. But yeah, this morning, the tornado alarm went off and the thunder started rolling. And again, I was like, this is like reminded me of Hokyoji when we would be out in the tents during Sesshin, and the storms would roll, the thunder would roll through the valley over and over and over in a very powerful, letting me know and all beings know our Dharma position within the natural world. It was quite a teaching for me. So I just want to bring that forward as well. So before I begin the talk, I would like to acknowledge the Dakota and Anishinaabe nations for their great care of this place called Minnesota. I would like to offer great homage and gratitude for all our Buddhas and ancestors, both the matriarchs and the patriarchs, for their compassion and wisdom in offering the Dharma to all beings. I would like to offer gratitude for our teachers, for our friends and our families who support our practice. And I would like to specifically uplift homage to the innumerable beings who support Hokyoji and all of us being able to practice in our way, given our conditions in that beautiful space, including the virtual space. So I would like to just say great thanks. Today, I would like to talk about kindness as skillful action. Sometimes it's called nonviolent action. And I believe it's medicine. It's medicine for the world that's been on fire for eons. And particularly what I am experiencing, and I hear from others, this is a particular challenging and dynamic time for all beings. And I think this kindness or nonviolent action is an act of resistance, a resistance to, or a response, maybe is a better word, a response to the negativity, to put it lightly, of what is arising in this moment, in the violence that's arising in this moment. And I feel that our practice offers us the possibility of infusing what's happening with kindness and with wisdom, prajna paramita. Questions that I've asked myself recently in relationship to kindness, and I'll talk about where this emerged from for me particularly, is how do we live with all beings in peace? What does that mean to live in peace? With our family? Well, let's start with ourselves. What does it mean to be peaceful within myself, within ourselves, within our families, our friends, our communities, our country, and the larger world? How do we meet complicated and complex conditions with equanimity, holding the tension of dynamism of what appears on the surface to be diametrically opposed to each other? Is it possible to be in relationship with beings, with family, with friends, with those who have different values or appears to have different views, but are we able to connect on a level where we have shared values? Is that possible? These are questions that I've been practicing with for the past several months. And what really highlighted this exploration for me was I co-led a workshop, an 8-week workshop with my friend Jewel Arkaren. Some of you know her. She and I have been in conversation for about over almost 10 years. She's an indigenous woman from the Sisseton. She's a citizen of the Sisseton Wahpeton tribe or nation, as well as a US citizen. So her perspective is rich. And she has developed what she has named the parallel trauma matrix. And within this matrix, there are 4 questions. the first question is, who are your people? The second question is, where are you from? The third question is, what is your name? And the fourth question is, what are your intentions? And these questions, in which are part of this matrix, there were over 50 participants in this workshop. And it was held at the Hubert Humphrey Institute. And it was a tenderizing experience for all of us. And it particularly was a teaching for me, because these questions have been an exploration for me in my practice, in my Zen practice, and in my life. The practice invites us to really explore our ancestors, to explore where we're from, to turn towards what is uncomfortable. And many people in this workshop, this was their first kind of experience into this process, and also in relationship to the indigenous experience, which is different than the experience of white settlers, of which I am one. And for me, my Dharma position within this, co-creating the space, was a Zen priest. I was very clear that the only way that I could investigate at a deep level my Dharma position within these questions, within this land, was to come from a spiritual foundation. And I found myself really cultivating a softness for myself and for the participants, because it's no small matter when we begin to look at material that is we may not have been a part of, but we've benefited from. So I just share that with you because what I found is that kindness, it's powerful. And maybe it's what they call a soft power. I don't know. As opposed to like a cluster bomb or a grenade. But it has the potential to really uplift and transform difficult conditions and difficult experiences. So I just want to bring that forward. And how do I know this, that kindness in this 8-week workshop was powerful? Because people felt it and they named it and they gave voice to it at the end of the workshop. We had a survey and people were very honest about their vulnerabilities and facing themselves in relationship to what we were bringing forward. So I was like, wow, kindness it's powerful medicine. Though it may be called a soft power. But yeah, it has, it's a balm in a different way, in a positive, transformative way. In the middle discourse of the Buddha in Sutta 66, he speaks to the cultivation of the mind that I think supports kindness as skillful action. He says, jhanas are states of mind, are called the pleasure of renunciation, the pleasure of seclusion, the pleasure of peace, the pleasure of enlightenment. I say of this kind of pleasure that it should be pursued, that it should be developed, that it should be cultivated, that it should not be feared. Working with our historical karma offers the possibility of transforming greed, hatred, and delusions, so the mind and the heart are instruments of peace. How do we pursue and develop and cultivate this mind? Dogen Zenji speaks to this in Genjo Koan, and many of you may know this. Some of us studied with the Genjo Koan earlier this year, and some of you may have studied it on your own or with others. But he says, to study the Buddha way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. To forget the self is to be verified by all things. To be verified by all things is to let the body and mind of self and the body and mind of others drop off. There is a trace of realization that cannot be grasped. We endlessly express the ungraspable trace of realization. I really resonate with that. And my interpretation of what I hear Dogen saying is that studying the self is what I call facing, turning towards the arising, appearing, and disappearing of thoughts, feelings, sensations, perceptions. Letting thoughts come and letting thoughts go. The mind is an open window, what Uchiyama Roshi calls opening the hand of thought. This experience is in relationship to all beings and all things because we're interconnected in this experience, though we are sitting zazen individually in our own container, we are connected. We are part of Endra's net. Quite naturally, the self-centeredness begins to untangle. This is what is kind of ironical, is that to me is when I turn towards my self-centeredness with space. I'm not saying this is an easy process, but with space, I can begin to see what it is that is tangling me up. I don't know if you've had this experience in conversations with people that sometimes I feel this conversation is getting tangled. What needs to happen? And sometimes what needs to happen for me is just a pause, a breath, and give it some space to see where is that tangle. So it's not only can happen in our zazen, it can happen in our life, our lived experience, because that too is our practice. It's not separate. This untangling allows a deeper part of one's being to emerge, and this experience is beyond words. It's what is called suchness or thusness or just this are words that are used often to describe this experience. It's it would have been this morning just hearing the birds without adding. That is awesome, right? Awesome is extra. Just the birds just singing is the suchness in the hearing, right? Without anything additional. Yeah. There's an important koan for me, and I've talked about it before, and it's the Book of Serenity, case 20, the koan of not knowing is nearness, nearest. Daizan asked Fei Yang, and Fei Yang at this point is a young monk on the path. Eventually he would become a powerful teacher, being one of the Zen masters of one of the 5 schools of Zen, but at this time he was a young monk. And he was asked by the teacher, where are you going? And Fei Yang says, around on a pilgrimage. The teacher said, what is the purpose of the pilgrimage? Fei Yang said, I don't know. The teacher said, not knowing is nearest. This question of going on a pilgrimage, I want to open that up a little bit, because I think that we go on pilgrimages every day. When we go to work, when we go to the grocery store, for me, when I go to the river, when we're in conversations with friends or with family or with work colleagues or supervisors. We are on a pilgrimage because every minute is not knowing. Every minute is a new, fresh experience. Even though I'm brushing my teeth every day in the morning, I'm not brushing my teeth the same way. It's not the same exact experience. So I think for me, just to open this up a little bit, that I don't need to go to Europe or to Bodh Gaya to be on pilgrimage. Even right now, I'm on pilgrimage. I'm sharing this journey with all of you. This too is my life in relationship to your life, in relationship to all that's happening in this moment. It's not separate. And I want to acknowledge too that recently I did have the privilege of going to the Highlands of Scotland, to Orkney Island too. And the reason I went there is because as a young person, an adolescent, early adolescent, my mother would always uplift our Scottish heritage. She always talked about the Picts, P-I-C-T-S. And I was always enthralled because her stories were like the pigs are ferocious, they're warriors. You come from a rich legacy. I mean, it's like, oh, wow, that's so cool, right? I mean, so, and to actually go to this place that my mother was talking about when I was an adolescent was unbelievable for me, in the depth of connection that I felt. I love the color of the steel gray sky. I love the power of the wind. I love the power of the ocean. In fact, it could be so powerful, it could blow me over. And it almost tipped over the ferry that I was on. I mean, it's like, that's something I resonate with, is the power of the natural world. And it was all there. And it connected me to my ancestors. And I felt a part of me, I felt the healing of that. Yeah, that not knowing the connection to my ancestors and then having this experience of interconnection in an unexpected way. It's powerful. So I think this not knowing has the potential to really unfold for us in inconceivable ways. In this commentary of the koan, the teacher says, the way is not in knowing or not knowing. Knowing is false consciousness. When I hear false consciousness, I hear of I'm projecting something onto these conditions that may or may not be true. It's the fabrication of my mind onto what's happening. I don't know about you, but that saying about not trusting your mind, sometimes there's wisdom there. That the projections and the fabrications oftentimes lead to misunderstandings and unkind actions. So that's what I hear him saying, the mind projecting itself onto itself. Not knowing is indifference. And sometimes I think that what I've experienced is this indifference is often cloaked in non-attachment. And I don't think that this not knowing is about the non-attachment as the human experience. It's something that goes as a result of our zazen, as a result of our studying ourselves and investigating and really looking at our karmic conditions. We can begin to untangle. And what does it mean to really be present in a way that's not clinging to a result or to what's happening, or on and on. Now when people hear it, that not knowing is nearest, that is where Fei Young was enlightened. They immediately go over just to not knowing, not understanding. And this is what I call spiritual bypass, is that the awakening experience is ongoing. It's endless. It has depth. And the minute I stop and say, I understand, and now I'm awake, there's issues there that I think create suffering for me and create suffering for all beings. The other thing too, I'm noticing it's a little after 10, and I want to talk maybe 10 more minutes because I would like to give you all an opportunity to bring forward your reflections and any questions or comments you have. So I'm just going to take another 10 minutes to just kind of bring forward a couple of other processes and then kind of conclude in a good way. I want to talk again about the practice of Zazen. This turning towards my egocentricity allows me to see what I have not seen. This seeing tenderizes and possibly increases the development of kindness and compassion and wisdom. This karma is a part of me. It is not the whole of me. In composting this karma and transforming it, spiritual stability has the possibility of deepening and expanding. There is an alignment with my vow and a less karmic pull. In Zazen, we compost our karmic consciousness and discern between a mind of samsara, suffering, and the ordinary mind, the big mind, or what Dogen calls the magnanimous mind. And this practice is endless. There's no arrival. I want to acknowledge, I've been reading Václav Havel's essay on the power of the powerless. And I've been continuing to read about the Therigattas, the first Buddhist women ancestors. Václav Havel is very interesting to me because of the experience. He was a playwright, a poet, a dissident, and eventually he became the president of the Czech Republic. And he wrote in The Power of the Powerless, he wrote this, which I think is really, to me, it's in alignment with our vow, our bodhisattva vow. He wrote, "We never decided to become dissidents. We have been transformed into them without quite knowing how. Sometimes we ended up in prison without precisely knowing how. We simply went ahead and did certain things that we felt we ought to do. And that seemed to us decent to do. Nothing more, nothing less." I was struck with that. We simply went ahead and did certain things that we felt we ought to do. And that seemed decent to us. Nothing more or less. To me, that is the expression of the vow, that when I bear witness to my own unkindness or the unkindness that's being perpetrated onto others, I face that and I'm curious and I do the next thing. I pivot. I do I try to pivot and do the thing that is decent, the thing that is kind. And this is what Uchiyama Roshi, he says, ordinary people, or he said, ordinary people are ordinary bodhisattvas. That means we are ordinary bodhisattvas. We are living our vows. The bodhisattva, being a bodhisattva, is not separate from us. And I think that's very important, especially right now, because the world needs ordinary bodhisattvas. It doesn't need shiny stars. I mean, shiny stars are nice. I love looking at the night sky and seeing the shiny stars. But sometimes shiny stars, they're in the sky. Ordinary bodhisattvas are right here, living in this relative world where the relative and the absolute are intersecting in space and time. So I just really want to uplift you all and me and all beings aspiring. We are ordinary bodhisattvas, living our vow and pivoting our karma to try to show up in ways that are wholesome to our capacity. And we do it step by step by step. The last thing I want to say is that recently I was listening to a Dharma talk by Pamela Wise, and she's a teacher in both Vipassana and Zen. And she was speaking to the first Buddhist ancestors, the women ancestors. And she was speaking about Mahaprajapati. And Mahaprajapati, as some of you may know, she's one of my heroes as a Buddhist woman ancestor. And if you're interested, Wendy Garling has written a book on Mahaprajapati, and it's called The Woman Who Raised the Buddha, The Extraordinary Life of Mahaprajapati. It's excellent. And also Wendy Garling has a lot of videos online that articulate this story in her knowledge and research. But one of the things that Pamela brought forth that I think is important about the three teachings of Mahaprajapati was that one, Mahaprajapati was persistent. She did not give up. She continued to ask the Buddha to be ordained. The second thing is Mahaprajapati was not alone. She had what I call is a posse, 500 women who shared the same aspiration as she did, went with her. The last time they traveled on foot, what I'm told, was 300 kilometers from Kapilavastu to Vasali. And it was then that Ananda came out and saw these women, including Mahaprajapati, in such distress and asked them, what's going on? And Mahaprajapati said, we want to be ordained. And the Buddha has said no. Ananda was an ally of Mahaprajapati and of these women. That's the third thing. And it was Ananda who went to the Buddha and said, do you think that women can awaken? It's a turning question. Of course. How could it be otherwise, right? So what I found interesting is that being persistent and being in relationship to community and also having allies was critical in pivoting the institution or Buddha's system of practice. And also Buddha had to do it within the cultural conditions that were arising in that moment. Because yes, he was egalitarian, and women at that time, and still at this time, experienced horrific conditions. So how to keep women in the Sangha safe was also part of his thinking. So I want to uplift, lastly, just uplift that kindness in responding to injustices in a nonviolent way is part of, it's important to train ourselves in Zazen, that so that we can develop the capacity to really have the courage to go beyond our fear and be curious and ask what is needed, and also what is my gift? What can I offer within these conditions to what's happening? And also, so training our mind, cultivating self-care. It's important that we take care of ourselves. Our bodhisattva vow includes us. That is kindness too, taking care of ourselves. And then what is my Dharma position within these conditions? When it was in the workshop, my Dharma position was that of a Zen priest who had been invited into this co-creation space. So what gifts do you have, or what gifts can be offered to this situation so that it's in alignment with the conditions and with what one has to offer within those conditions? And also, Jewel and I were in this conversation with each other for almost 10 years. And finally, we had the opportunity to bring it forward in a way that had integrity. We could do it with over 50 people. We had the support of an educational institution. So having a vision that this is a long range aspiration. Change isn't going to happen quickly. And fifth, which I think is important, and I really want to uplift this, and sometimes I forget about it myself, that joy and optimism are critical. And we need to support each other, remembering our joy, remembering optimism. I was listening to this one activist who's a Nobel Peace Prize winner, Maria Ressa. She said that there's a group of 4 or 5 women that are working together to try to change a system. And they have an understanding, and their understanding is only one person can be sad or depressed at a particular time. and the rest will uplift that one person. I mean, that's mind-blowing to me, because I often thought, who needs joy? Who needs optimism? We gotta work this, we gotta go. But no, I've pivoted, and I invite you, really, if you have that kind of gut it out and will it through, I invite you. Consider joy, consider optimism, and consider humor and laughter too. So I just want to say thank you for your attention. Thank you for your practice. And please, we have a little time left. If you have any reflections or comments, please bring them forward.
GD?
Yes. Who's talking? Sorry. I got it. Okay.
At the very beginning, you mentioned these four, at this kind of group thing, these four questions. Who are your people? Where are you from? What is your name? And what is your intention? And first, I thought they were very interesting because they're like backwards in order a little bit. You know, it starts from far away going towards you. But my question was, what is your intention? Is in your mind that the exact same as what is your aspiration? Or are they similar but not quite the same? Or are they like totally different?
Okay. I think that I would use the word, thank you, Tim. It's good to see you.
Yes.
Yes. Tim is a bodhisattva for Hokyoji. I just want to, if it's okay to say that, I just want to kind of say that and acknowledge you. First of all, can I talk to about the order? Because the order is very intentional. The what is your name is the third. And the thing is that what Jewel has said is that we want to bring it away from our egocentricity, because the first thing we do is we say our name. But in this process, we pull back ourselves a little bit. So I just want to acknowledge that what you're thinking is correct. That's the system, is working from far away from the self and then bringing it into the self slowly. And then for me, intention and aspirations are the same. The aspiration for me comes from my vow to be kind. And then when I fall short, which I do, and many of you have that experience with me where I fall short, I atone, hopefully, right? And I repair, and then I come back. So that's the beauty of the aspiration, is it has flexibility for my human experience. And I think Jewel, she uses intention and aspiration kind of interchangeably too, but I resonate more with aspiration. How about you?
Well, when I was thinking about it, what is your intention seemed difficult to ask, figure out an answer. What is your aspiration seemed a lot easier. And actually, relating this to myself, when I first heard those questions, situation is I used to go to the Anamosa prison, and when COVID came, I stopped, and then almost started up again, and then they had a couple murders of staff there during an escape, and then so anyways, I haven't been in like 7 years, but I'll be going in a few weeks for the first time, going back. And these 4 questions, I thought it'd be really interesting to hear their response to: who are your people? Where are you from? what is your name? Which actually I've forgotten a few of their names. There's only 3 of them there that show up regularly, at least they used to. And what is your intention? And I thought, what is your aspiration might be a lot easier for them to answer than what is your intention. And then I thought, oh, I'm supposed to be asking these questions about myself. So then I thought, well, aspiration is easier for me too.
Yes. Thank you.
GD?
Oh, Mary,
It's okay.
okay. Shinko Marilyn, and then Mary. Okay.
I lost you somewhere here, GD, on my screen. Oh, well, whatever. I just want to tell you, oh, there you are. I just thoroughly enjoyed the talk. Just, that's my comment. And it's so rich. There's so many aspects. I wish I had a transcript to study it. So maybe I'll figure out a way to get one. And thank you. That's my comment.
Thank you very much. Wow. I mean,
I'm trying to demonstrate. What were the words? Kindness was at the beginning, and then you had something and optimism. So
joy.
there you go. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary, can you bring your voice in?
Yeah, thank you, GD. I'm gonna ditto Shinko. Wow, there's so many layers, and so really appreciate all the layers. But I'm gonna go with one layer, and that is there's a Buddhist practitioner on this in this sangha this morning, Carl Haltman, who long ago was talking, I don't know, it was at a Dharma talk, a comment. And he said, always assume good intention. And I'm not sure where Carl got that. But that has stuck with me for years. Assume good intention. And it really tied in for me with what you're saying this morning. And the reason why I like intention, since we're discussing this, versus aspiration, is that for me, sometimes intention feels very this moment, very present in this moment. And so it really speaks to me in that way, whereas aspiration feels future to me. But that's just me. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that forward. And I have so many questions, but I can't. I just have to give up my time here. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to go, if I could just respond to what Carl's teaching about look for the good intentions in people. Is that what you said, Mary?
Yeah, he said, assume good connection.
Okay, yeah. Assume good connection. That to me is my practice here and now. And the Abhidharma would support us that people, we are basically good. But I'm kind of hypervigilant. So I need to work on untangling that. So thank you for bringing that forward. It's important to assume the best. Would anybody else like to bring their voice into this circle? We have some time. I see you guys and people. It's good to see you.
Good morning, GD. This is Alan.
Good morning, Alan.
Nice to be with you and everybody this morning. I especially liked your talking about ordinary bodhisattvas and the ordinary things that we can do on a daily basis. And to me, it's just this is not always easy for me because I may be lost in my own thoughts. I may be lost in my own situation of the moment and not looking outward as much as I might. But when I'm able to look outward, and when I'm just encountering another person who probably I've never seen before and may never see again, I can say something. I can say something kind. I can say something pleasant. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but there can be a little connection there, and the connection might last for, I don't know, a minute, maybe, but something happens in that moment. Something is created, and then it goes somewhere. And so I think that's something that all of us can do, and I think it makes a difference. So I'll just throw that out there. Also, when I hear people say, "What can I do?" Conditions are terrible. What can I do? And seems like people are trying to think of some big thing that they can do. And I say, well, don't worry about how big it is. Just do something. And if everybody did something small, that would be a big thing. So anyway, thank you for your talk.
Thank you. If somebody did something small, that would be a big thing. That is gold. Thank you. Shinko, you're muted.
I'd like to join in what you said earlier about seeing the Zendo. Oh my gosh. I tuned in this morning. You're right. The floor is glistening. We see these people sitting. I feel so much. And I heard the birds. They were the Hokyoji birds.
Yes, they were.
And I can picture myself sitting in the corner where I usually sit, hearing the birds and being a part of the Zendo. So I just wanted to echo what you said about how wonderful that is, literally, to see the Zendo on screen. So thank you, folks down there.
Yeah, I would like to give a shout out to Gage. I see you. And Noah, I haven't met you yet, but I look forward to meeting you. And Dokai, you guys look great. Thank you. And now I think we're at the end, unless somebody wants to bring their voice into the circle. Go once, twice. Okay, we're gonna do the Doka, are you gonna lead us with the great vows? 4 great vows?
Changing the view.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hello. Let's see, which camera should I be looking at? I guess that one. Okay. All right. Yes, next week's speaker is Jushin, Stephen Butcher. And the activities coming up here at Hokyoji are on July 17th, Naturally Awake with Mark Anderson and Melissa Link. On July 26th, Clouds and Water will be coming here for a week, and you would register through them for that retreat. On August 9th, we have the Jewel Mirror session, and that's an Hokyoji event. And then on August 19th, MZMC, Minnesota Zen Meditation Center, is coming here. And again, you would register through them if you want to come to that retreat. I think we have gotten the clear message here that you would all like us to sit in the Zendo, or broadcast from the Zendo. So we'll keep that very much, we'll be very cognizant of that as we go forward. Okay, then I believe we'll close now with our 4 vows. Beings are numberless, I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible, I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless, I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable, I vow to realize it. Thank you all so much for attending today. Thank you so much, GD, for your talk today. And we hope to see you all again next week. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.